Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Winning cures everything. It is Wednesday, July 29th. That's right. We have made it to Hump Day, and I am excited. Matt jumps in already on YouTube. What's up, Matt? How are you? Hopefully everybody else will jump in as well. Coach O and the LSU Tigers have got me fired up today. Mike C jumps in. He said, what's up? What is up to you, brother? Coach O said, and we're not going to talk about this a lot today, but Coach O came out today, and they asked him, when is LSU going to be ready to play? And Coach O said, you call us at midnight, we'll play in a pasture. That is what I'm talking about. Michael Fritz jumps in on Twitch. He said, what's up, Gary? How about them Rockies? Yeah, Rockies they got a W last night. That's what I'm talking about. Lots to discuss today. Before we get into it, though, go to the website, winningcureseverything.com. All of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms. Of course, I am solo again today. Chris will be back with me tomorrow. We're going to be a little early, as tomorrow, everybody should know by now, Thursdays, I am in the office, so we'll be going live at 3 p.m. Central Time, so long as that time works for Chris. So we'll figure all that out as we get there. But go to the website, winningcureseverything.com. You can find everything that you need to know about us over there. If you're watching the show right now, you are watching on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. So you can subscribe at any one of those. You can comment and chat at any one of them. Any of those platforms will populate right there on the box, which you can see down at the bottom of the screen, the bottom left. It's all right there. Michael says Kelly gets 8 games for one of the best moments ever in baseball. That's why MLB ratings suck. That just happened, and I'm going to talk about it. But, yeah, that kind of sucks. I was not happy with it. However, he did kind of incite something that caused a little less than social distancing. We'll say that. So, yeah, I wasn't pleased with it, but alas, here we are, and we are ready to roll. Everybody should know by now, we are moving our college football content over to sportsbookreview.com. Make sure you go and check them out. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. That's where all of our CFB stuff will be beginning August 1st. That is this Saturday. We will have videos up already. Not a lot to discuss over there, but we will have all of our stuff there. So go to sbrpicks.com, sportsbookreview.com, and make sure you are subscribed. Let's go ahead and fire into topic number 1. And I think that it should be the biggest topic of the day. And it's not, for whatever reason. Aaron Rodgers decided to finally discuss publicly the Jordan Love pick that the Green Bay Packers made in the first round back in the NFL draft in April. We all assumed that, yes, he's probably irritated, he's pissed off, he's whatever. It sounds like he is resigned to the fact that I did not change the topics on the screen. If anybody's watching this, good gracious. Here, we'll just go ahead and drop those out. Mike said Kelly was running his mouth. All right, hold on. We'll get to that here in a little bit. I want to talk Aaron Rodgers. Let's keep this going. He was on Kyle Brandt's upcoming Ringer podcast called 10 Questions. It's going to be exclusively on Spotify, and it comes out August 12th, but he's already released some of the information that came out of it. He expects the Packers to move on from him rather quickly. Chris and I have discussed the role of quarterbacks, especially rookie deal quarterbacks, coming up in the modern NFL, right? If you can get a good quarterback on a rookie deal, you can afford to pay everybody else, and it fits into that salary cap structure, which will allow you to be a much better team going forward, because as we just saw with Patrick Mahomes, as we have seen with numerous guys, you have to pay the quarterback. And when you pay the quarterback a substantial percentage of your salary cap, you can't afford to be good at the other positions. We all understand quarterback in the NFL right now is the absolute most important position on the field, but that does not mean that your offensive and defensive line is not important. It doesn't mean that your playmakers are not important. It doesn't mean that your defense is not important. You need to pay your linebackers. You need to pay your defensive ends, as we'll talk about with Joey Bosa later. You got to get other guys paid as well. So you got to make sure that there's a team around your quarterback. The easiest way to do that is to get a good quarterback on a rookie deal. Russell Wilson has not been back to a Super Bowl since his rookie deal. It goes on and on and on. Michael said, how many years does Rodgers have left on his deal? Rodgers has 4 years left. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. Mike said, I want to know what kind of tequila he drinks to be able to sit down and sip tequila. Hey, let's not judge the man. That's another part of this, by the way, I haven't gotten to. He told everybody in this interview that he sat down and he poured about 4 fingers of tequila and just sat and sipped and drank and enjoyed his night because he knew it was going to be one of those nights. And when everybody called him, he said, I'm fine. Everything's good. There were a lot of different things in this that have already come out. He did say, I think probably the former on Green Bay eventually replacing him. He said that's probably what happens based on the circumstances around everything. Just look at the facts. They traded up. They drafted him. I would say they like him. They want to play him. Yes, if you got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, like a good quarterback on a rookie deal, yeah. Mike said, I'm all about drinking just tequila. Tequila belongs to margaritas or shots. No, not if you get a good tequila. You get a really good one, and as Chris and I will discuss eventually on the show, we've discussed it before, but if you've watched in the past, I'll be sitting and sipping on tequila. It looks like water, but no, it's actually really, really good stuff, and you can get a good bottle for $30. But either way, so this is another one that Aaron Rodgers said. I know what he's going through. Rodgers said the last thing you want is any negativity about realizing a childhood dream. I called him and just told him, congrats, man. I understand what you're going through. It's super exciting. I'm excited to work with you, which I am. He admitted it was not the scenario he envisioned. He obviously wanted a wide receiver. He said, was I bummed out? Of course. Who wouldn't be? I want to play my entire career in Green Bay. I love the city. I grew up there. Really, I got there when I was 21, and I'm 36 now. A lot changes during that time, but I get it. I see it completely clearly, and I'm not bitter about it. It just kind of is what it is. It's interesting to see all of this stuff come out now because we all assume this is what was going on, right? I mean, good gracious. Michael said, well, we saw him courtside trying to chug a beer, so he obviously doesn't drink. Well, he is known to be a Scotch guy, and now he's kind of been moving back over to tequila, and, I mean, I'm good with that. I mean, I'm a bourbon guy, but I'll sit and drink a nice tequila. I got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, depending on the tequila, I'd rather drink that, in all honesty. And you can call me whatever names you want to, but hey, if it's a good one, it's a good one. So, yes, this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers now leads us to try and figure out, well, where does he end up? He's 36 years old. Where does he go? Damian said the reason why he was chugging down the tequila is because he knows he can't chug beer. Maybe. Maybe. Hey, but if you're used to Scotch, if you're used to, like, the finer liquors, beer is not going to cut it for you. It's just not. Mike C. said, mad props for being able to sip tequila. Bourbon and Scotch is for me. Yeah, no, I like bourbon, but if it's a good tequila, a good smooth tequila, yeah, 100%. Now, for me, it's got to be Blanco. It's got to be, I can't drink the gold stuff. But, yeah, if it's a good tequila, I will absolutely sip it all day long. I am with Rodgers on that. I will definitely agree with him there. The next question is, where does he go next? Where can the Packers trade him that would make sense that he would actually want to go? And I think the answer to that question is a Super Bowl contending team. So you've got to have the Patriots. You got to have it. Does he go back with Mike McCarthy? Do they find a way to make things work? Michael said, I had a nice cold summer shandy this afternoon. Yeah, if you got a nice beer, absolutely. Turn on my lights over here. I had to run in quickly. Today has been a little bit bananas. But yeah, I'm good with that. Does he go to the Steelers? Does Ben re-injure himself and they need help at the quarterback position? Do the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy try and get him away in a trade if they don't like what Dak does this year? Does he leave after this season? Does Green Bay try and trade him after the season if Jordan Love shows some promise? It's a massive, massive contract, but there are teams that will find out that their quarterback situation is not what they thought it was, and they are going to need somebody in that position. Maybe you can go with an aging Aaron Rodgers for a few years until you get the next guy. So, we'll see. Mike said, I think he's 2 years from a trade, maybe the Saints. Hey, that would be unbelievable to see him in that offense. Him and Sean Payton would be a lot of fun. Michael said Niners when they finally figure out they've overpaid Jimmy G. Honestly, if you look at what Jimmy G's contract is right now compared to the other ones that are coming out, I think they got a deal. I mean, they absolutely got a deal. Now, obviously, everybody will be considered overpaid once we figure out what the salary cap is going to be next season, because this year it is going to take a hit. It is going to be bad. So you're going to see a lot of guys trying to get extensions done, especially with guaranteed money. It's this year. I mean, you're going to want that done, which is why I'm a little surprised that Jamal Adams didn't want to go ahead and get a deal done with the Seahawks. That just didn't make any sense to me. I mean, go ahead and get that deal done, get yourself taken care of, because if you try and wait until after this season and wait for next season, they're not going to be able to give you as much. Just saying. Just saying. All right, let's move on. You guys wanted to hit on it. Let's go ahead and discuss it. The Dodgers and the Astros last night. This is what baseball needs. This is what we needed the whole time. We've been discussing the Marlins. We've been discussing the virus. We've been discussing everything. And I am tired of it. Michael said the LA Rams for Aaron Rodgers, they've shown they make big deals. Now, they got way too much invested in, I've gone blank on his name, whatever the guy's name, the quarterback for him. They've got way too much money involved in him, and nobody wants him. So you're not going to be able to get out from under that contract. It'll be a hell of a lot of dead cap money. You don't want to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. So is what it is. Damien said, I don't give a damn where Rodgers goes as long as he leaves the NFC North. Brett brought up him going to the Bears. I enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. All right, back to Dodgers and Astros. Joe Kelly and Carlos Correa. Now, he also threw at Alex Bregman. I mean, that was absolutely insane. And the Astros had to have seen this coming. Mike C. said, Astros players acting like babies. WTF happened to words. Don't hurt no one. Too much damn sensitive. Yeah, I'm with you. This whole thing is bananas. Look, Joe Kelly struck out Carlos Correa, but he threw a fastball that made Correa duck down, and he threw another one that went over the head of Alex Bregman. He's a wild pitcher anyway. Anybody that's ever watched him knows that's what he is. I mean, he kind of looks like the guy from Major League, right? Whatever Charlie Sheen's character was in that, I can't remember. Wild Thing. So, you know what he is, and you also know, even if he is aiming at you, you have to expect that this season. Everybody's pissed off because you got caught cheating and you won a title with it. And you beat this team in the World Series. This team believes that they should have gotten that World Series, and now you're playing them this season. Of course they're going to be fired up. They're going to be pissed off, and I don't blame them at all for it. I mean, it's unbelievable. So Joe Kelly strikes out Carlos Correa and looks at him and yells at him from the mound and says, nice swing, bitch. Now, that takes some nuts. That takes some balls to be able to say that. Michael said MLB needs it, but then they punish Kelly. Correa needs to be punished for walking towards the Dodgers bench. I'd say Correa is at least 50% guilty. I think he's more. I think he's more than that. You got to be able to control your emotions when somebody yells at you, period. I mean, that's all it is. Mike said the pitch to Correa was a slider. I thought Bergman got the fastball. Yeah, you're probably right. But I was watching it, one, because I had money on it, and I took the right side. But good gracious, payout wasn't great. Minus 150 on the Dodgers last night. But yeah, Kelly making the crying face, like the baby face to Correa. I thought it was classic. It was exactly what we needed. We needed something to happen on the field to get everybody talking about something other than this Marlins catastrophe. Michael said, how about 8 games for Kelly in a 60-game season? Are you kidding me? I'm not even a Dodgers fan. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but 8 games, not a massive ordeal. He's not going to pitch every single game anyway. I think it's fine. I don't care. I don't believe he should have been suspended at all. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and yet here we are. But I'm glad that it happened. I loved seeing it. I love when stuff like this happens so that we can actually discuss interesting things in baseball other than, the regular stupid COVID stuff. Now we're off of the COVID stuff, and we get to actually discuss this. This rivalry between these teams is amazing. Michael says, Kelly did what every MLB team and MLB fan wanted to do. Yeah, I think maybe this is the beginning of Rob Manfred and that bunch coming out, not trying to necessarily defend the Astros, but letting them know, okay, we get it. You all want to do this, but we have to play within the game. And I understand where he's coming from. He's trying to take control of a situation. If I were him, I'd probably let it go. Joseph said, have you seen Kelly's fastball? Because he hasn't. 8 games, really 2. Yeah. Michael said, I'm sure Kelly would say it was well worth it. Yeah, well worth it. Well worth it. That was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to see. A lot of people don't like the Astros. I'm one of them, you know? I mean, good gracious. All right, let's jump off of that. Let's move into the next topic. Let's talk about gambling. Nevada Sportsbooks just took their first overall losing month for June since 2013. In July of 2013, they lost $548,000 in Nevada Sportsbooks. This June, they lost $483,000. Now, I'm sure that you are all asking the question, right? How in the world could you lose that much money in sports books in June when you just opened and there was no baseball, there was no football, there was no basketball, there was no whatever. MLS wasn't here. The Premier League was barely starting up. Like, what happened in June to allow you to lose that much money? And I will explain, and then it will all make sense. According to the control board, there was a net loss of $5,261,000 on football bets. Now, we know that there were no losses, or there were no football games in June. So how do you lose that much in June? Well, remember, the middle of March, they shut down all of the sports books. They shut down all the casinos in Vegas. People still had football futures that they had to get cashed. And you have 90 to 100 or 60 to 120 days from the end of the season, which was at the beginning of February, to get those things cashed. So then once they finally open the sports books back up, well, they reset the clock. So once you get into June, everybody decided to come in and cash their football futures. So over-unders on regular season wins, teams to make the playoffs, teams to win the Super Bowl, teams da-da-da-da-da, all of these different things. I mean, you still had Super Bowl bets to pay out. So, of course, you're going to take a massive loss on that. That also means that they made back over $4 million on other things, whether that's Korean baseball or the Japanese league or soccer or any number of things. I mean, they're betting on cornhole. They're betting on everything at this point. So, yeah, I was surprised to see it because, I mean, obviously they do not take losses very often, at least not overall losses. But for the first time since July 2013, Nevada Sportsbooks took a massive loss, $483,000, and that is not an insignificant amount of money, but for them, that is really nothing. That is really nothing. They will make that back and then some this month just on baseball. All right, let's talk a little pop culture right quick. We're going to make today's show relatively short. Little pop culture today. NBC Universal. Now, we talked about this before. We were talking about dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. Michael said, never a good sign for the economy if sports books are losing money. No. It's a great sign for the economy because that means everybody was getting paid. So Joseph said, gambling, okay. Baseball first games were mainly all chalk and soccer was hit hard, but people holding tickets. Wow. Hey, look. When you got football futures, people are coming back to Vegas because not everybody that is that has a ticket from Vegas is from Vegas. You got guys flying in, you got guys traveling in and whatnot. If you weren't able to get back there in March, a lot of them were going to come back for the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's the way it goes. They were going to come back for the NCAA tournament, actually cash their Super Bowl and playoff bets, their NFL future bets. You can't do that unless the sports books are open. And everything was shut down once March Madness went down. That was on, March 10th? So, yeah, you see where this is going. So if they couldn't do that, obviously they had to hold on to their tickets. So, again, let's discuss pop culture for just a minute. NBC Universal has reached a deal with AMC Theaters. Now, AMC Theaters is the biggest theater chain in the country. That is a massive, massive thing. And earlier, this pandemic, whatever, when Universal decided to release Trolls World Tour to pay-per-view at home only, AMC banned Universal movies from being shown at their theaters. Obviously, AMC theaters haven't been open since then. Universal's still kind of been shut down. Every movie release has been pushed back. Who knows when we're going to get back into theaters, all that kind of stuff, right? When that happened, NBC Universal decided, hey, we made a ton of money by letting people watch this Trolls movie at home for $20. You know, it's just a one-time rental, whatever thing, for you to sit down with your family and watch it. Now, if you think about it from the perspective of a family, right? Trolls, you're going to attract a ton of kids. So if you got two parents and two kids that are going to the theater, then you have, let's say, $12, $13 per parent. So that's $26 for the parents. And then you've got $10 for the kids. So that's another $20. So that's over $45 right there, just in tickets. If you can get away from the concession stand for less than $20, that's a miracle. So along with the time that it takes to drive there, or if you don't bring the kids and you want to get a babysitter, whatever, you're looking at a $100 night just to go to the movies. So if you can sit and rent a movie for $20 at home, obviously you're doing well. Now, most of the stuff that costs that much is not going back to the studio. NBC Universal was not going to make but about 10% of the money that you spend at the movie theater. AMC is making the rest of that. Let's jump in here to the chat. Michael said, people being paid is great, but also a lot of people with no money to lose. Yeah, no, that's 100% true. Matt said, I miss going to the theater and paying $15 for a ticket and then $25 for small popcorn and water. I will say this. I like going to the theater, but I also like sitting at home. I have more time to do that. I got a 2-year-old. I mean, good gracious. And I can't afford to go out all the time. So Michael said, I've been loving being able to stay home and rent these movies. Hell, the theater in our area started checking bags for outside snacks. Oh, yeah, don't forget that. Matt said, I can watch movies at home with no pants on. Joseph said, when did it hit $12 for a Coke? Michael said, I do miss going and catching matinee movies, though. Here's the deal. Like, big-time movies, like these monster movies, Godzilla and Jurassic Park and Star Wars and whatever, those are meant to be seen on the big screen. And that's why NBC, Universal, and AMC have done this deal. This deal is a 17-day exclusive window. Now, it used to be 90 days. That was 3 months before they could release it to a streaming service or put it out for rent or allow it for sale, etc. That is an insane amount of time. 3 months is a long time to wait for a movie. I got used to doing it. I mean, my wife and I, we will wait for a movie to come back on at the house before we actually watch anything because we don't have time on Fridays or Saturdays or whenever to go out to the movies for however long it takes. I mean, it's a 20-minute drive to the theater, and then you've got a 2-hour movie, and then it's 20 minutes back, and then we got to find a babysitter, and we got to find da-da-da-da, and then it costs them. It's just a disaster. With a 17-day exclusive window, you can get the people in that want to see it right then. You can get the people in even after that because they can continue running these movies. It's not an exclusivity thing. It's not 17 days and then they stop. It is, they can keep running it, and then people that want to watch it at home can watch it, or people that want to go to the theaters can watch it. That's not that big of a deal. I think it's incredibly genius by both sides to say, okay, AMC on this side, we're going to allow movies from Universal because they are a massive franchise-generating studio. Jurassic World 3 is coming out next year. Fast and the Furious is one of their things. I mean, they've got a ton of them, right? You don't want to stop showing those movies because then you're going to lose out on the crowds that want to go see those movies. So, you work out this deal, 17 days. That's not even 3 weeks. That is not that big of a deal. If a movie comes out on Friday, it'll be available in 2 weeks on the next Monday. I'm totally fine with that. I think that's great. That gives you basically 3 weekends to get that thing in. And I think it's awesome. So, Michael said movie theaters got smart. Now they rip us off on alcohol prices, too. Yeah, for the ones that actually do serve alcohol. There's a lot down here that don't. Matt said getting a bag of Coke from the guy on the corner is cheaper than Coke in a theater. Damian said, I would do anything to go back to a movie theater or anywhere as long as I'm away from the Roku, damn it. Joseph said, similar to Disney speeding up The Mandalorian so Disney could get the subs on their app. Yes, 100%. I mean, that's what this is. So I like the idea. Now, obviously, when this first starts, you are going to see massive pay-per-view prices because they know how much it costs to go out and take a family to the theater. What they did for Trolls was $20. How far can Universal push it? I mean, we're talking $40 for a movie, $50. I mean, will they push it that high for a pay-per-view showing? I mean, we'll see. Jose said King Kong versus Godzilla. Can't wait. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've been waiting for that one for a while. My wife thinks I'm insane because she doesn't like the monster movies, but I enjoy them. All right, last topic of the day, and then I'll get out of y'all's hair. Again, appreciate you guys for jumping in on the show. Lots of people watching today, so I appreciate that. I've been doing it solo for 3 days. Didn't know if anybody would stick around, but I do appreciate you guys for hanging in. The Chargers have signed Joey Bosa to a 5-year, $135 million contract. Now, that is really good money, especially for a defensive end, right? You get a good one, you want to make sure that you keep them. You got to make sure that you can maintain pressure on a quarterback, and the Chargers definitely need to keep that. They need to maintain it on that side of the ball. It seemed like it might have been a little bit of a deal, and it kind of is. It's still a lot of money, but $78 million signing bonus, so that's guaranteed at signing. And then $108 overall million guaranteed through the life of the contract. So they can only get out of, do my math really quick, 135 minus 108, you can only get out of 22 million, whatever it is. I'm terrible with math. Terrible. Unless I got a spreadsheet in front of me. With that, I mean, you are talking really a good deal for the player and a good deal for the team. Like, this is a ton of money. Now, what it leads me to, obviously, because everybody connects these, Joey Bosa gets $135 million with $108 of it guaranteed. What in the world is Nick Bosa going to be worth to the 49ers? That guy shows up 1 year and takes them to a Super Bowl. I mean, that defense was the team last year. That was everything. Michael said, I love seeing other teams in the AFC West spending that money. Oh, believe it. But here's the thing. That also means you're going to have to deal with Joey Bosa. You know, you're going to have to deal with him for 5 more years. And, yes, he has had a few injury problems here and there. He's had a few issues. But I'm telling you, this is a legit elite defensive rusher. I mean, he can get pressure on a ton of stuff. Joseph jumps back in. He said, Godzilla took out 2 mega monsters at the same time and a radioactive bomb. Now you want him to fight a gorilla? Yeah, I can't wait. Kong Skull Island was fantastic. All the Godzilla movies I think are great. You know, they're incredibly cheesy, but if you just want to watch shit being blown up, hey, perfect movie for it. But yes, so Joey Bosa signs the deal. The Chargers get their guy done. Again, $108 million guaranteed, 78 of it on signing. I mean, that is unfreaking believable. All right, I'm going to get out of you guys' hair. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody that jumped in the chat today, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you enough. It's a good time. We're going to have Chris back tomorrow, of course, tomorrow and Friday. We are going to have a fantastic 2 days to end the week. And then Saturday, we start over at sportsbookreview.com and sbrpicks.com with our college football coverage. We are trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do for this podcast going forward. May not have as much time to be able to do it daily, depending upon work schedules, et cetera, but we'll figure it all out. So just keep sticking around. Michael said thanks as usual. Gary, Matt said yeet. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been wonderful. Keep jumping in these chats. We appreciate you big time. So with that said, go to winningcureseverything.com. Make sure you are subscribed on the podcast. Leave a nice 5-star review, written review over at Apple Podcasts. And make sure you hit that like button, share the show out, all those good things. With that said, take care of yourself, take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.